Okay, so I'll write it all right. MA disk data count. Right, so is less than disk data count plus. Okay, what I might do is MA disk data I dot write else L writer. Hello, Nobody Epic. I'm alright. Thank you very much. Writing code. Just always good. Hopefully I've written the save function. So I might just grab that entire load function from there. I will do that though. Thank you, Viera. Actually, is that Twitch? I can't even tell. It's going to be really interesting what happens with Mixer. Genuinely interesting. Because there will be some perks for subscribers in the Gnome game. There's a special skin, which I'm not sure if Todd's done yet, but I can't write the code. This is what I mean about Mixer. Need to get their finger out. I can't write the code to generate the subscriber-only stuff, and I can't test it because I can't have any subscribers because I'm not a partner. So I can't ship on day one with this. What I'll probably do is subscribers will get a 10% experience boost and they get a unique special skin. But I can't write that code or test it. So hence my gentle, hey, any news to Mixer? Like, if they're like, this is really complicated or we need more information or I'm waiting, like, anything is fine. Any answer other than no. Because if they do say no, I need to come back with, well, what do we need to do? Right? You tell me. Okay. Read the single. How do you become a subscriber? What, on Twitch? Just press the button, I think. I don't know. My point is, on Mixer, you can't because I'm not a partner. But because I'm not a partner, I can't write the code to give subscribers an advantage. So I'm in this terrible catch-22 situation. Excuse me. I just need to read the type. Which is base manager dot ebase component dot out type equals Is it cold out? It's nice. Well, it was nice here earlier. I actually went outside briefly before I came back and did some work. Reader.read int 32. That should do it. Excuse me. But hopefully the Mixer guys do actually respond. I don't understand. It may not be legal, but can you not just contact someone who is patented so I can get the code? Well, what code? Don't understand. I could pretend you're a subscriber. That's fine. But not really very much use because I can't test it. Okay, so at this point, we should now have a file on disk. 3D survival. No, we don't. Okay. Oh, I've got to save. Let's see if that works. Well, that's easy. Alexa, what is 43 degrees Fahrenheit in centigrade?
43 degrees Fahrenheit is 6.1 degrees Celsius.
That's not that cold, is it? Allow me to take you through the Celsius system. At 0, water freezes. 20 degrees is a nice room temperature, and at 100 degrees, water boils. Unlike the American system, where, Alexa, what is freezing point in Fahrenheit?
Here's something I found on reference.com.
Close.
On the Fahrenheit temperature scale, the freezing point of water is 32 degrees.
Oh yes, 32.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. My point is, Vieira, that's batshit. 0 degrees Fahrenheit is just some completely random, like, it's just a... I don't know why anyone would stick to that. It's just a nonsense sort of thing. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't think I actually... First of all, I didn't close the file. And I didn't mark up as save. I mean, I'm from a generation, unfortunately, where my teachers understood imperial but had to teach metrics. I have grown up genuinely not really understanding either system. I'm not even being funny. Really, really not very good at either. Checking. So what's happened is I don't really get either of them, either of the systems. Thankfully, yards and meters are about the same, but I don't really do very well with weights at all. Right? Most of my weights come from butter. Like, I know how much 100 grams of butter is. I know that a 2-litre bottle of drink weighs 2 kilos. I don't know. It doesn't help that... So in England... Right, so in England, I will drive my car measured in miles to the petrol station. I will buy my petrol in litres. But my fuel efficiency is measured in miles per gallon. Ta-da! We still buy milk in pints. We don't. We buy it in, like, I don't know, whatever it is, 1.13642. I think it's 1.167 litres we buy it in, not a pint. Not 1 litre. Our beer comes in pints, but our road systems are this bizarre mishmash. So we measure temperature in centigrade, we measure weights in pounds and kilos, but all of our car measurements are in miles. Whereas fuel efficiency really should be measured in 2 numbers I use. So it should be measured ideally in miles per litre, because I buy fuel in litres and I drive in miles. But instead my choices are kilometres per litre or miles per gallon. It's just so broken over here. It's genuinely... Libroken. I don't understand why that's not saved. Okay, let me just debug.log saved file name. File name. Okay. Let's put something so stupid. Oh, it's possible in a build. It's just saving it to... No, it doesn't seem to be. Right, that didn't actually save it then. It's alright. Nobody epic. There are worse things to have wrong in life. Okay, so base build manager should have called add base component, which in turn... Alright, wait, hold on. That code should have been outside that brace. Should save now. I mean, honestly, nobody epic compared to Brexit. That's pretty good. Like, relatively speaking. Hey, that saved something. Sweet. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll build a base, such as it is. Which for some reason right now if you select it and move away, it doesn't. I'm starting school on the 3rd for my game design bachelor's. See, I'm afraid, Michael, I don't have a very positive view of education in general, but mostly I really don't have a very good view of game design education, because game design. So this is one of those things that everybody wants to be a game designer because that's the easiest job, isn't it? You go, all right, cool. On level 3, and I've got Amos Spankel. You're like, on level 3, the boss, right? It'll have a shield and it'll have rocket launchers for arms, or whatever. That's not really how it works in the real world. In the real world, you'll join a company and you will spend 3 years balancing really tedious combat mechanics in Excel. That's what will happen. There are some things, some gaming theory, which designers that do, but there's even that. There's not just there's no thing as a game designer. There are people who balance mechanics. There are people who do sort of overall design, and then there are people who sort of design the gameplay loops. And they don't tend to be the same person. So the person that decides like the progression and the loot stuff is not going to be the same guy that designs how the bosses attack, which is not going to be the same guy that actually ensures that this piece of armor isn't massively overpowered and doesn't drop at this point, that point. So it's one of those that I struggle to see how a educational course is going to teach all of those things. And even if they do, someone who is really good at designing platformers is not going to be someone who's really good at designing racing games, who's not going to be someone who's really good at designing MMOs, who's not going to be any good at someone who's designing survival games, and so on and so on. They have very little in common. What hopefully you do get from your education is you come away and instead of snidely going, oh, it's just a Skinner box. All fucking games are Skinner boxes. That's the point. You do something, you get a reward. You're like, yay! That's what it works. So yeah, I don't know if it's any good. It kind of depends where you go. So hopefully that now works. So hopefully then we should be able to load . To be honest, I still see that sort of stuff on game design, on like professional gaming forums I'm on. One of my favourite bits of all time was at Codemasters, where one of the programmers Jr., he was should we say he was a bit of a PlayStation fanboy? Should we say that? And he said something, and finally the lead programmer snapped, just laid into him, pointed out that the Xbox was better in nearly every single respect from our point of view, and you can go on about MIPS and cores this, but genuinely the PlayStation 3 is such a complicated beast that we were really struggling to get the performance out of it we needed, and if he wanted to continue to rant about how one console was better than the other, he could go and take that to the forums. We just didn't want to see that shit at work. The PlayStation 3 was more powerful than the Xbox. No ifs, no buts. But it was so much more difficult to use. It was so hard. PlayStation 2, sorry, PlayStation. It was so hard. It was ridiculous. So, yes, I mean, if you're going to be a small indie one, sure, one guy might design everything, right? But anyone who comes out of their education and goes into doing their own games is almost definitely gonna fail, because you're talking about an extremely complicated field that it's not a one-man field. It's not. I can do it, but I've been doing it for 30 plus years, coming to 40 plus years actually. So I've been doing it for 30 plus years, so I'm pretty experienced. I've made all mistakes before. That's the important thing. I've screwed up everything a lot already. So as a newbie, you need to make all those mistakes again. Well, again, for the first time, sorry. I'm trying to program and code. But yeah, I don't. A lot of it does depend where you go, and to be honest, I know they've got better because I've been involved in feeding back to education, going, this is useless. I'll give you an example. We had one guy come to Codemasters, and we turned out he'd only learned Unreal and Unreal scripts. And we were like, but we don't do stuff in Unreal. We write our games in C++ using something called Fire Engine, PHYRE, which is a Sony-based product. And then we were like, is that all they taught you? They're like, yeah, we've done all game design in Unreal and Unreal script. And we're like, right, but why would they teach you that? What? That's not useful. I mean, off the top of my head, I can probably name half a dozen games done. Maybe 10 games that are written in Unreal. Professional games, there are a few unique ones, but not that many. But nearly everything's written in custom engines, so you need to learn C++. That should be everything. So that should now create the disk data. So then we load. So when the base build manager comes up under start, is that right? Base disk data under awake, that should load. I then need to recreate the objects, then relink the objects, and then rewrite them into the system. I didn't crash. I'm not expecting to see anything yet. Okay, so. I might just do that from above. Okay, if disk data.load. Oh man, that's going to be interesting. I might actually store that somewhere else. So what I think I need to do is, so I'll call this one MA build data, and that's what we save. And then there's MA disk data, which is what we load. For gaming, nearly every game is written in C++, and if it's not written in C++, it's written in C#. So the build data is what we do in it, but the disk data is what we load. So return false. Otherwise, what we do is we load it off disk into the build data, and then I have to build it, but then it's already full. I don't forget nobody writes games in CSS. Well, not that I know anyway. Actually fill up the disk data, and then debug.log generating disk base with disk data. Saved items. Khan Academy process. No, I've never heard of. Oh shit, that doesn't work. Okay, what's going on there? Khan Academy is an online learning thing. No. Quite frankly, there's nothing that annoys me more than anyone who does complex educational stuff as a YouTube video. Unity does it everywhere, and it's like, okay, that's very nice if I'm a visual learner, but I can't search a video, can I? I can't press Control F and search for, vector or something like that. It's a terrible, terrible thing to do, and it annoys the ever-living piss out of me. Oh, I think I need to rerun it now. Where's my mouse cursor? There it is. Okay, so that should now have saved, I hope. So if I rerun it, I hope. And I won't save it, so that should work. Generating disk space with 0 items. Okay, that's not... Has it not worked? Has it not saved? Did I... Right, MA disk data equals new list. So far I'm okay with I mean, I'm old, and I was self-taught. I was entirely self-taught on programming stuff, and most of my complex stuff I was self-taught on as well. So, lighting, most of my maths I didn't learn at school. I learned myself. So, these days it's easy. Just go and Google it. Okay. And just to check, that is the build data. And we do add... No. lbuild data.add lcomp. So we're loading up the disk data, generating the object, and then hopefully saving to the disk data. Again, if you've played Adapter, you'll know I've written this already. Generating disk with 0 saved items. Okay, can't have to use more. Yeah, 3 base items. I mess up the height a little bit, haven't I? Okay, cool. So, I'll run that again. I'll just copy that because that's the base I want to get back in. So let's just run that. So hopefully it should say, we won't see anything, but it should say, yeah, load generating disk space with 5 saved items. Okay, so now we need to generate all the game objects. Build the foundation immediately. Run linking on all objects. Got the issue that I don't know which objects attach to which one, so I just basically need to just link any objects I can, any that do disappear, and so on and so on and so on. I might do this in a iterative fashion. I'm not quite sure. Maybe. Okay, so when I equals 0, I is less than disk data dot ma disk data dot count I plus plus. So hopefully everything is in kind of the right place anyway. So probably we don't need to. But rerunning the link code should ensure we don't get any sort of drift or anything like that. I probably don't need to though. Have I tried programming on a MacBook? Yes, it's just a PC. It's just you type the code, you hit run, it works. I don't understand the question. Are you asking me about the keyboard? Because it's not very good. Are you asking me about the way that the heatsink is just the case? Because that's not very good either. Okay, so why am I doing that? List in object. Oh. My main experience of programming on the MacBook was a job where we got given MacBooks because I don't really know why they were awful. Like the MacBooks couldn't run the build of Sonic, so I brought in my own. I've got a Asus Dragon Edition 2, 3 years ago, but it was such a laptop. And like the MacBooks they gave us would run the game at about 12 frames a second, whereas my laptop, which was quite expensive but probably still cheaper than a MacBook, ran at like 150. So we had these MacBooks, and I genuinely sat there for 10 minutes on my first day, and then I just went, Steve, yeah, how do I log on? I can't find Control Alt and Delete. I can't find the key to log on to be able to do it. Yeah, I don't think MacBooks are very good. I genuinely had nothing good to say about it, and it was quite thin. But it wasn't very fast. It ran hot. The keyboard wasn't very good. The battery wasn't very good. So great, it's thin, but that's like going, I really love my car. Why? It's not very long. You know, there's not much boot space. It doesn't go very fast, and the fuel efficiency is rubbish, and it sounds rubbish. It looks rubbish, but it's not very long. Okay, so equals m disk data dot ma disk data I dot type. I think that's what I might leave off the relinking code later on. think if I just do game object.instantiate L prefab, comma, mdisdata.m8 disdata i.position.location, comma, quaternion from deprecated. I like to say deprecated, but not. Returns a quaternion. Yeah, I think that should be it. Hey, you never know. Might work. And then it's just L object active true. Might just work. Well, kinda. Oh, location dot Euler angles. If you're going to overtake one with levels, be my guess. Now, I'll be honest, that's not quite right, is it? Of all the things that are right, I would say that is not a thing that is right. Debug.log spawning. Spawning. At. Now again, I don't know whether it's my code that's wrong, whether it's my my saving that's wrong, or my loading that's wrong. So I need to start hammering down where the issue is, and I'm pretty sure that the Y of the location should always be the same, no matter what. So we can work our way back. Excuse me. So I've spawned a number of objects, and they are all spawning with a Y of 84.5, which is kind of fine, except the other one shouldn't have had that Y. So now I'm confused. Why doesn't this work? The only thing I can do is to delete that file and recreate them and then see where they were. Because it should be fairly repeatable. So where are you? You are indeed at minus 84.505. Are you all at minus 84 point? No. Okay, so the base is at minus 84 and everything else should be at minus 85. So let's make a backup of that so I don't screw it up. So the foundation is 1 meter off from the base, which is fine. But I noticed that all of them are saved out to 84.5, or at least they're spawned now. Shouldn't I can't move. So we add the base component, and that just sorts the position. And when we're saving, we write out the fuck off. We write out the X, the Y, and the Z. And when we read them in, we read in the X, the Y, and the X, Y, and the X, Y, Z. Loaded. Again, I'm expecting to see the foundation to be 1 meter off from the other bits because of just physics. Okay, so we loaded them. No, we loaded it at minus 84. Minus 80. Okay. Does the amount we're saving it incorrectly? Okay. So we save that at minus 84. And we save that at minus 84. That seems wrong. Ah, that should be preview object. Okay, that makes some sense. So I was saving it wrongly because the detection object might have moved, but the preview object will be in the right place. Okay. Okay, hopefully that's everything. Hey, awesome. Let me do a commit. Cool. That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. I guess the next step is to do the locks. Now, I think I may have inherently solved that. Cause, oops, wrong window. So if I flip on the top collision, because I had it disabled. Right, so that needs to face upwards. So it's the same thing. We will only be able to lock two things facing in the opposite direction. So if I... No, nobody epic, not planning to. I mean, we are having a subscriber skin for Gnomed, but I'm not planning on a early adopter anything, really. There's no benefit to me to doing it. Don't forget, part of the reason I am doing it as is for money. Again, this is something I surprises me how difficult it is to explain to people that if there's a financial or marketing or blah 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 benefit in it, sure, but it doesn't gain me anything. You're already one of the early adopters. I can't. If we were trying to hit 2,000, sure, there might be a some scope to do that. But as it is, no plans to. Okay, so this is copy rotation. I feel, though, like I am not perhaps doing this in quite the way I should. Like, I feel like I'm just all willy-nilly, just doing whatever. Like, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. So, for example, in Space Ninjas or whatever, could you build a base bit and then a wall, and then the walls first? Like, I could probably put up No Man's Sky and check. I can't remember if you can. Don't know. I think it will be alright. Mostly you need to build the base and the top bit. But it's generic text, Steve. So it's not for FortressCraft, but it's generic. It doesn't care. So there's nothing stopping me making this base build. Like, each of these objects would then essentially just be voxel builders. But the tech is what's the word? English. Tech is what's that word? Abstract. Abstract. Yeah. Okay, I need to delete the file. I'm not going to recreate that below. Theoretically, I should be able to hook up nice graphics to these and then use the same sort of systems so then get invisible voxel collision. But obviously, right now, I don't know because I've not tried it, so it might not actually be any good at all. Yeah, I can show you guys. Hopefully it's working. Hopefully. I can't show you much because there isn't much to show. But yeah, we do have a thing going. Oh man, that is a lot of gizmos. Let's turn off the gizmos. Yeah, so we've actually got a fairly nice survival thing going on. Hey, where's my fog? There we go. That's what I did yesterday. So we've got. I can't even describe the fog system. So I've got a height fog and distance fog system that actually allows 2-color fog. But yeah, it's for this application, so it's for this game, so the players can build their bases. Obviously, I'm in super run fast mode. Obviously, you don't sprint around like a degenerate lemming. And right now, only one of the areas is done. But it looks nice. I think it looks. It's beginning to look really quite pretty. And that looks fabulous. Look at that. Look at that. Obviously, in this case, there wouldn't be fog at sunset. Fog looks fine during the day. Looks, where's it midnight? Looks dumb at midnight. But yeah, that needs to be modulated based on... That's a morning thing. So in the morning, first thing, might be a bit of other things. And you can chop down trees. It all works networked. The real problem... So again, what I'm doing here is as someone who has never played Rust, I am making a Rust clone. So just let that sink in for a second, okay? Never played Rust, making a Rust clone. I am cloning what I think Rust is. If that makes any sense. And the one thing I know about Rust and all of these survival games is they all run like utter shit. What's my biggest problem right now? Not having the game run like utter shit. So this uses the same paradigm as FortressCraft. So all of these plants, all of these trees, they're all simulated on another thread. Giving me virtually all of the CPU time for rendering, which is a bit terrifying. So as I said, I'm cloning Rust, but I've never played Rust. So I'm cloning the game that I think Rust is. But yeah, all these trees, these are all simulated on a low frequency thread, and they've got physics and stuff, and all these around here. So that's... But mostly we've just been working on sort of the visual look and feel, as well as the performance. Well, it doesn't help, Steve, that I don't really understand why anybody would play Rust. From what I do know about it is it's just this grindy, grief-tastic nightmare. So I'm looking at it going, that doesn't sound like fun. That sounds pretty awful. But obviously there must be something about it that I am missing. Yeah, I said it. The mist only looks good at one time a day, and I said it won't be here all the time. I'll only be there first thing in the morning, when you're in the right place and it's in the right place and all that. But hype fog has always been something that just looks really nice when it's. I don't have any high up to go to. Everything looks weird when you're traveling at this speed, though. Just curious if I go up. Where's the up? Todd made a. There we go. Todd made a path. But yeah, sunset looks lovely. Not quite sure why the fog is not visible up from there. That's something to go. Anyway, that's what this is for. But because it's generic tech, that looks rather nice. And honestly, that's almost very decent arms. It's almost a video right there. And at night time you get a local light source instead. And as I said before, glow in the dark fog. But I need to do walls first. Okay. Yeah, I've also been looking at another survival game, and they've taken not just 5 months to get to where I've gotten in a couple of weeks. So I'm doing all right, I think. The plan with this game is to go into early access in about 6 months, and to come out of early access in about 18 months. Doesn't affect any of my other plans. We're still doing Gnomed 2 days a week. That's on hold until Mixer get back to me. And then FortressCraft is still on Fridays. But I think that this will work quite nicely in FortressCraft. Okay, well, hopefully we should get the wall now. Oh. Well. Okay, what did I break? Oh, nothing. Obviously I break something. Oh, yeah, okay. Might need to recreate the base. So... No, Todd needs to do a trailer for PacketStorm, and then that's it. As far as I know, the Steam store page is now done. Let's have a look. No, not this. Other thing. No, partner. Yeah, This week we made $43 from Adapter. Yay. $2,000 lifetime revenue. Oh, that's... The thing is, I'm also Project Games Limited, and Default. It's really just the back end is just atrocious. And look, I need to sign in again because this is a different website. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I thought I'd done more than that. But yeah, the other thing is just there's just a lot on. With PacketStorm et al., part of the goal is... So hopefully a survival game does well, and I will do exactly the same thing. You will get a special skin or item if you own FortressCraft, if you own Adapter, if you own Steam Heroes, if you own AmpuTea, and blah, 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 blah. There is... I don't know, there's probably a name, cross-marketing or something, but the point is that it needs to be done by that point. More, it doesn't need to be done now. But mostly I'm just waiting on Todd to say it's done. Like, the game's done. And then the idea was that people would say to me, hey, you should do this, you should do that. It's fine, it's great, it's rubbish. But forget, we are at the point where you're asking me about releasing a new game, which is fine. Let's check out the last game. Right, we still haven't got enough reviews to give us... Huh? How am I... I don't even... Yes, remember me. Always. But yeah. I'm pretty sure if we got a couple more... we would be at 100% positive. No one's written a negative review. I mean, I could write one. The game's a bit short. Sometimes the physics are a bit wobbly. But overall, it's pretty good. And I've definitely played worse games. And it's fine. It's quite easy to complete it all. And a lot harder to get it to 100%. But... overall, I reckon it's pretty good value for money. It's not as good as FortressCraft, but that's because it's not FortressCraft. So, yeah. Honestly, if we got 100% review, honestly, I think we would hit... if we got enough thumbs up, thumbs down, we would genuinely and honestly get 100% positiveness, which would be amazing. I wish we would stop marking it as free. I don't think anybody got a free copy. Like Dave did. I didn't give Dave... oh, that's by my friend. That's why he's at the top. So yeah. Still waiting on that to happen. Okay, cool. So... I might need some sort of offset. And he might turn the gizmos back on, that's what I might need to do. am I running at max mode anyway? Actually, if I don't have like sensible controls. These are just temporary controls. Just can't. Bit confused why it's a meter above that. Ah, yeah, okay. So to be fair, that's 3 meters above the origin. Is it now half meter above the origin? Yeah. I suspect that needed to be 0. What height's the floor at? Oh, height's at a very brilliant -84, and that's at -5. Great. Yeah, actually, I don't know why it's not automated. I genuinely don't. It should just be an automated thing. If it's paid for, it appears in one way, and if it's not, it's not. I boggles my mind why Steam. Some people, you see, they how can I describe that? What they do is they use the received for free in a negative review as a way of saying this game wasn't even worth the money. So that's how people use it. Good job, Valve. I've no idea why it's not there. I've no idea what it means. Whether or not it counts towards the thing, whether it doesn't, I don't know. Okay, so that's broken. Oh, no, it's not. What are those red lines? That means that no, that can't be that one. That means it's colliding with something. Oh, okay, that might be the... So what's happening there is that is colliding with this. I think if LA_col i.transform.parent equals transform.parent continue. This is part of us. Into colliding lockboxes. Oh, we all know Valve. They make questionable decisions. We all know this. So now I'm beginning to wonder if built things need to count as terrain. Because otherwise I am going to struggle to match up that with this. Or I assume it's more or less flat and then build the wall on top of it. Or do I need to have, as I said, in here, a secondary collider that turns on when the base is built? The other option is to have a ray catcher on the far side. All of these solutions are bad. So I'm going to grab a drink and have a think about that a sec. I'm going to try doing what I said, but I'm not sure it's a good idea. Which I realise is not a brilliant state of affairs. Right. So what I'm suggesting is a thin layer of collision on top of the base that enables only when it is built. So we will end up with a graphical version of these things. But the visual will obviously be unique. So what I'm suggesting, and I'm not... and this is build floor collision is and possibly this is a unique thingamajig as well. That'll do. I mean, that could just stay as terrain. Actually, no. I will set that as base build collision. And the base prefab will now hit terrain and base build collision. Now, this will definitely screw up how I try and build the same things. What will happen is the preview. Yeah, so that's the problem, that I need to have it turned off. Because what's happening is it's landing the ray on itself. Now, that one doesn't have it, and that doesn't have it. Okay, well, that's not working either. That's... Probably helps if I had a center of the screen, wouldn't it? So probably the wall needs to be moved up by probably 1 meter. So when the bottom of it is probably where I want it. So probably like that. Getting there. Obviously, we won't see any of these boxes. That'll make life much easier. Let me draw the ray hit base build manager. Oh, okay, so the ray's... Wait, if the ray's hitting there... I think I might know the issue, and it might just be a bit more derpy than I thought. Yeah. That's where it should be. It was like 80 centimetres backwards. That might help. It might need to be up a little bit from that. But now, hopefully... Oh boy. I'm a bit worried I'm going to end up in a situation where I've tweaked everything and then it just doesn't work. Having said that, that does extend. So I can actually make these... like that. So the idea is it should snap to that one. Obviously, it could be even taller. I can actually be quite generous with these collision boxes just because of the way they work. Now, that one just won't work because it doesn't have any top collision. And that's not hitting anything, apparently. Okay. Ah, yes. Well, that would be because those are not tagged with the correct collision. Oh, yes, they are. Oh, yeah. This one isn't tagged with the correct collision. Right. I mean, the trickiest bit will not be snapping to the side. I mean, so the wall should snap on the inside, I guess? I guess so. I don't know. Wait, hold on. Why aren't they marked as green? I've forgotten to add that script. Come on, dude. I even made it so it changed the colour. There we go. And... yeah, so that's part of the issue. I don't know if you know. So it can snap to this one. Or that one. Which is... they're both valid. And if I was actually more of a player... let me get rid of these big screens. We don't need them anymore. So that should be exactly in the middle, or it won't snap. Yep. Yeah, this is why I should probably rewrite the snap code, because if I do jiggle things around, they'll save wrong. Ah, there we go. That's why it's not working. Uh, 0.5 maybe? No, 0.75. So now the middle of it. Nope. Wrong one. The middle of it. Yeah, that looks good. Right now I have no idea what this is going to look like. I'm suspecting initially a log cabin thing. Yeah, so without the ground plane, it's almost impossible. Why is it impossible? Well, I'm actually a bit confused because the this one here has its top collider. Which one? So it's that one. Oh wait, that's not. Oh, I only fixed that one, not this one. I keep forgetting. I'll tell you what, let's do the same thing again, because I think this one is now correct. So let's copy it over there. Move its legs. Cough a bit. And call that base floor. Interesting. I think that means we don't need the rigid body anymore. Do we need the RB? We're now doing physics overlap, so I'll check that, because that'd be a nice performance boost. I won't check it right now because I'm trying to not get distracted. They're pretty good. To be honest, if you try and do internal walls, actually, that's pretty good, isn't it? And all I need to do is copy the. Oh man, okay, because this is a wall, and walls do, to be fair, have an inside and an outside. Probably. I need anything. Fine, I'll do. Oh, that actually reminds me. Oh, Andy, what did you call them? Oh, you call it roots. Yes, I have got distracted, but that's fine. I hate it when Unity decides to import new materials. Import materials, no. gonna guess that one. Ah, where's it gone? Hey, there we go. Although I actually suspect in usual... no, that doesn't seem right, though. Unity and Wings tend to always do this thing where one of them is a bunch of the... Yeah, it's just the wrong size. I just want to make sure I saw the wood end. Anyway, so the important thing is I now know which is the outside of the door and which is the inside. So the forward of... See, that's the wrong way around, for instance. That has to be that way. So that would be wrong too. I mean, it will kind of support internal doors and stuff, but it's probably going to be fairly nonsensical. Just making sure these are all facing outwards. So what will happen is if it's flagged as requiring a snap, the forward of this becomes equal to the up. Oh, this is never going to work. This is going to be... My Discord just went put up and I don't know why. So, I'm trying to think where I want to feed this back up. So Linux, well, always. I'm not sure I understand your question. Please, I am currently developing a generic base building system, ostensibly for a survival game I'm doing, but it's generic code, so it quote unquote should just work on anything. So I would hope, but there is definitely no guarantee, but I would hope this same base building stuff can go back into FortressCraft 2. That's definitely the point. I'm writing it in such a way. Everything I've got now could drop into any game. What will happen is, on top of the generation code I've got, it will have to build voxels or generate collisions or things. Excuse me. Okay, so this equals la_col I.transform.up. This is going to be interesting. So Linux. I did post on the Patreon page about this, although the information is a touch out of date. The plan this year was to work on 5 games, a different game every day. That plan lasted nearly 2 weeks. I have finished one of the games. It's called PacketStorm. I'm waiting on Todd to do the store page, and then we can ship it. The rest of my plan. I said it's gone out the window more than a little bit. So right now, I realise that it's what I'm about to say is a lie because of the day of the week is. But the idea was now, Monday, Tuesday, I am working on a game for Mixer. Hopefully Microsoft will support it. That would be nice. And the Mixer game, I'm working on that Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, I'm working on a game which is tentatively called 3D Survival, which is, to be honest, I might just keep the name. It's just so brilliant. Maybe I'll call it 3D Survival Test. I don't know. And Fridays, I'm working on FortressCraft 2, which is more better known as FortressCraft Phoenix. And that's the logo, and I fucking love the logo, and that logo is just awesome. FortressCraft Phoenix, I can nearly give a copy to patrons. Nearly. Hopefully this week. The reason I haven't is I've redone the intro sequence entirely. So it now generates a new base in an entirely and completely different way. The crashing spaceship sequence is gone. The dome is gone. All of that just doesn't work anymore. It's just gone. So, hopefully this week, and I realise I said this last week, but I had a birthday. Hopefully this week, FortressCraft patrons, and this is only ones, I can't remember what I said. I think I said ones with more than $100 lifetime donations. They'll just get access to FortressCraft 2. Like, just done. So Linux, I totally recommend that you hook up, that you link your Discord to your patron, and then you'll get access to the super secret Discord channel on Patreon. It's not that secret, but you can only get access to only patrons who are currently patrons can get access to it. Yes, so hopefully this Friday you will get access to it. I mean, I've got to already work out a build. Like, how do I make a build? How to upload a build? Do we have a Steam page? All those things. And I do need to make very clear, and I will repeatedly make this clear for the next 2.5 years. It's not... It doesn't work for you. It works for everybody else. Anyway, if stuff works, great. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I don't know why not. I mean, it really is working for everybody else. I have a funny thing this is going to work. What isn't working? Vieira has failed to link his Discord to his Patreon. I mean, I get almost real-time notification. I mean, we're currently at 32 people who have successfully linked it. It should just work. I'm trying to work out what happens if the... I mean, right now, this isn't quite going to work. So, from above... I know... Ooh, yeah. Okay, so from above, there's the floor. Right, so here's the floor. Okay, so there's the floor. And then I build a wall on it. So the wall looks like... I'll draw all the faces of the wall. So the wall looks like this. Not quite like that. The wall looks like that. Okay. That's fine. But when I build another wall... Thank you, Linux. Enjoy work. I hope it's not too bad. So when we build another wall, I guess Andy's going to have to make these with a bevel internally. Because otherwise, you see, we've got this... Like, the next one will look like this. So we'll have Zed fighting there, and there, and there. So Andy's going to have to make these kind of with pivoty corners. Oh no! They have to be done with pivoty corners, and not. So this means that the pivoty corners would need to be that shape. So it needs to be this shape. And that's fine, but why aren't you building two walls like that? Blah. Might be alright, might not be okay. Evier, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're better off obviously contacting their support. I genuinely have no idea. Okay, so... Okay, so if MA detection I dot there, copy rotation, excuse me. Okay, so if preview object.transform.forward equals detection bc.log forward. Oh. Is there an else written there? I don't know. Let's see what that happens. Let's see what that happens. Let's see what happens. I don't know if you guys listen to anything on YouTube, but I keep getting an ad from Rosalia, lovely Latino sounding lady, or Latina, sorry. telling me to listen to her music on the app, but I don't know who she is. Hey! Oh shit, that worked first time. Hey! Ah, okay, yeah. So yeah, if you do try and do internal walls, they will try and face the wrong way, but that's... Whoa, that works as well. Oh, happens to work there. And let's see what happens. So these now have a rotation. So did that? Wow, I'm on. Ah. Oh, I know why. Right, back in a moment, and then we'll fix that. So after loading, I don't recreate the objects properly. So that was a bit of a fail. I'll leave that running so you can all stare at the glory of the base. Back in a minute. If I told you what I was doing, you wouldn't believe me. So I'm not telling you what I'm doing. But I'm back. Okay, so I have to add what I'm saving. We can just do it there. That's fine. Okay, so let me delete that. Again, I don't know how long I'll be streaming for today. As you can, excuse me, as you can probably hear, I'm still not very well, which sucks ass. Okay, so we need to fix that too. Oh man, alright. Thanks for a drink. Luckily I have more. What's it called? Now I don't know if I need these on the wall. I might do. And the next thing to do is, well, the next thing to do is to build a base that's at slightly less ridiculous shape. And then I need to add in slopes and what are those things called? They're called walls, doors, windows, roofs, ceilings. I need to add in ceilings. Doors and windows are just walls. Okay, so that's cool. Yeah, I'll probably just so I might knock off at like, what time is it? I might knock off in a couple of hours and just go and just go and sit in front of the sofa and sit in front of the TV with a blanket and a hot cat by my side. That should do it. lobs.transform. No, lobs. Get component, base component. And then we also do a set detection false. Did I mean true? Oh yeah. And then that should also allow us to finalize the bit. Okay, that should be everything. Was that everything? Hopefully. Well, let's try it. Let's try building some sort of base. Yeah, okay, so need to assign the runtime collision. Okay, so that's good. That's not screwing up. And click. The only thing is, if I lock it and move it away, that needs to then disable that, because that's not, I can't build there. Okay, so I'm going to stop there and rerun, and hopefully that should still be... Cool. And then... Not bad for a couple of days' work. Now, I think we might... So if you're actually walking on it... Oh, no, that seems all right. I'm fairly surprised that's quite so good. Okay, cool. So if I rerun again, hopefully... I'm quite pleased with that. Now, here's the next question. is how do the ceilings attach? We'll commit that because that's good. This is good progress. I don't see any current issues. Just trying to work out how the ceilings will attach. Now, to be fair, I did play No Man's Sky quite a lot, and No Man's Sky, at times, shall we say, struggled with trying to position ceilings. So ceilings, I guess, are pretty much the same as floors. Please don't be sarcastic. Yeah. I do that sometimes. I just type angrily. Sometimes also I do something else briefly while I'm thinking. I think that we just want to do ceiling coal. Remember, you guys do almost literally see my entire working life. Pretty much everything I do is live on the internet for your pleasure. Except, perhaps, I think in about an hour, so I think I'm just going to go to bed. I'm still not very well. I wish I was. It's just got incredibly frustrating. So the ceiling, I guess, wants to go there. At the rather weird 1.875. I'll make that the other colour though. I was not typing furiously. I was typing just quickly, typing happily. I'm pleased that this has progressed quite so well. Obviously, I've got all the complexity of stuff you can build on the base, but the fundamental loading and saving of something that works in Unity space to and from, I'm pleased that just works. It's taken me a bunch of time, but I'm pleased that works. But again, I haven't played the other games, so I can't comment, but should I be able to place a ceiling on the outside of the wall? Now, probably not, because it'll probably look stupid. So I guess what I'll do is I'll continue with this, and then once it's, a bit more done, I will get some feedback from people going, I really want to be able to build this, I want to be able to do that. And then I just realised that this computer's a bit noisy. And I think it may also be one of those situations where someone does something stupid and they go, this is stupid. My response is, well, don't do that then. Because I get that a lot. People are like, oh, in FortressCraft, it lets me do this. And it's always just me going, well, don't do that then. Oh, you should make it so it doesn't let me do that. I'm like, why would I do that? Doctor, it hurts when I do this. Well, I'll stop doing that then. Okay. Why didn't we have a ceiling? Oh, because I didn't tag it as ceiling. Now, I don't know if this needs to go on the bottom. And, oh god, this is where it starts to get even more fun. Because there's no inherent difference between a ceiling and a floor. So now I have a situation where I'm not going to let you build underneath the floor. That's fine, I can justify that away. Whereas a ceiling is essentially a floor. So that means that the ceiling needs to attach in all four directions, but also allow walls to attach underneath it. So that's fine. So I can build a wall. I can't. So I think the walls might need the same runtime click. You can see all the red lines. They represent the system trying to find valid locks. I don't know why those aren't valid locks. They are valid locks. Okay, I've got some issues there then. I've screwed up because I've managed to get an error there, and that looks like it's offset. It might be these collision boxes are too big, too wide, all those things. For instance, right now you can attach a ceiling to a floor, which I guess if you want to, that's fine. But you can't attach a ceiling to the outside of a thingy, only an inside. But without any collision on the ceiling, I'm going to struggle to ever find a collision spot there. I might get one this direction. But that's wrong. I mean, that is definitely wrong there. Whatever the hell that's colliding with is definitely not. That's right, that's wrong. What's that colliding with? It's colliding with the... You think this would be ever so simple, but it's not. I think what's happening... So that's the one where it's derping on me. Unfortunately, it's not drawing the red lines. I mean, there we go. That's the one that's snapping. What does that? That's the ceiling lock collision. Yeah, so what's happening is that one is locking to that one. Which is not very valid. That's to allow me to build on top of that. I'm not planning on getting this right today. Most of the plan is just to get to a better state than we are. Because it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't know how I can actually get rid of that. So the rule is that any given pair of things can snap if the arrows are in the same direction. And that's fine. But that should not be able to clip on top of that one. Having said that, it might also be that the floor and the ceiling just become the same thing. And I need to become slightly smarter on the... I'm trying to think. There's a generic way to just do all of them. So if there's a way to not have different, to have different visual types, but have everything else. Let me see if I maybe just briefly placeholder up what I mean. Because these are this shape. These are the shapes you could be off by this much, and then it just snaps to the middle. But does that mean that possibly these should be wider or smaller? Should it also be that there are... No, because I've already used the direction. I'm wondering if there is a way I can set these up, because I can easily, I think, state that. Let me color code these a bit further. I think I can do this via color coding. Confirm what I'm thinking in my brain. So what I'm suggesting here is that this one's red. Under all circumstances, red can only attach to red. Orange can only attach to orange. And blue only to blue. So then I all I have to do is put the collision into various categories. And then, of course, then we've got the possibly a floor collider for that, which would be... Because then this can be a floor or a ceiling. And I think that will work. Will that just work? And that essentially gets us two types of collision, vertical and horizontal. I'm mentally just sort of going through all of the possibilities and thinking it will work. And then all we've got is everything is the same. The graphics are different, but all the collision is identical. And then I can probably just quickly tidy this up into having a collider, parent-child. And then Andy just models inside that. Right, what I've done essentially right now is I have thrown away a chunk of the collision via the facing. The problem is that it's possible to kind of jam it in a stupid way, which is what I did. So then all I need to do, I think, is add in a tag, and I mean I could just do them as a color code. Excuse me. Public enum lock color. Only pairs of the same color can lock. It's up to you to ensure you get the colors right though. So we got orange, red, blue, green. I think we had a green. But that means that these can become much wider, so they will catch anything that collides and then snap center to center. Tomorrow I won't be streaming, by the way. I have a lot of admin to catch up on. I will also have to make a note on that one. FCP store page. I can't remember how long it takes for you guys to get access to it, but hopefully Friday I should be able to actually, honest to God, make a build. Should be great. Yeah, so what I'm saying here is that this one needs to be marked as type. All I want to do is actually hook that up there. So public lock color pair match col. Yeah. Yeah, the real problem is that on top of this, because you can go above it and below it. Like ever so closely. If LA call I dot lock. That's a pain. Oh, I could have done this with tags. Oh well. Yeah, Dave, I shall not be joining you, I'm afraid. I have been quite ill for several weeks now. Let me just. I will quote you what I told Jinx. Due to ongoing health problems, due to ongoing health concerns, I'm afraid I will not be joining you this week. End. Which is a very dramatic way of saying I've had a cold and then I got a cough. And then I got like a temperature and then a headache. And basically, I've just had a series of illnesses, one after the other. And my phone is ringing and I don't want to answer because it's my garage. Actually, I will. Hold on. Hello? Oh, hello. So I took my car in to get a flap put in the exhaust, so I can turn the car from very loud, which is what it is now, to very quiet, which is what it needs to be to actually use it on a racetrack. And a bunch of very minor things he's doing. So they've done all the minor things, but they haven't done the exhaust. Brilliant. Yeah, Dave, the problem is that I've had like several illnesses one after the other. Not an illness, I could cope with that, but I've had a whole bunch of different illnesses. So it should just knock me off my feet. So I'm well enough so I could come. That's not the problem. The problem is I might not be very well after I come. Oh, that sounds dodgy. I phrase it like that. I'm just don't want to wear myself out. And I've been coughing for just freaking weeks on end. So that sucks. But I will be there for 50. I'll make sure. And even worse, you know, much as I love the big game, I've just bought a brand new, and I say brand new, I mean 10-year-old, a brand new 10-year-old motorbike, and it's just sat in the garage. The weather's lovely, and I just feel too ill to go and ride around that, because, yes, that's my situation right now. But my new bike is lovely, and I love it, and I've finally, after, how long, 2 years, I think it is, I've spent my insurance money. So I haven't gone out and like just gone wild. I've just spent the insurance money that's been more or less sitting in my bank account for a while. Now I'm not, well, this is the thing. It's quite important to note, as you should. Oh fuck! As you should probably know, Dave, because obviously, if there are any symptoms, you're almost definitely not contagious, because diseases that had symptoms while they're contagious tended to die out. But yeah, I'm not ill. I'm just run down, I guess. I guess that's the fairest way of saying it. I've just realised that with this system, I'm going to need to just duplicate those and those. So there's a red one on the bottom to look at things. Well, it's the same as my old bike, only it's got ABS. But it does have one thing better than the old bike. It sounds almost exactly the same, but the baffles are removable. But I won't, because I mean it's pretty loud anyway. So yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to make myself worse. So I said probably going to stop. I'm basically going to wait till Todd gets up, have a quick chat with Todd, and then probably just slope off. But I'll get there. I'll get there. Okay, so now blue can touch to blue, orange to orange, and nothing can go on top of that. So we'll see whether or not I've fixed it myself. Okay, so that broke. Think I need to. So I'm a little bit annoyed at my garage for not fixing the thing I really needed to get fixed, and for fixing a bike. Because all that's going to happen now is I'm going to get my car back, and it's just going to go on the driveway, because I can't take it on track, and I don't use it. It's not a daily driver, but they've replaced the oil in the rear diff, which was one of the, there was a noise, and they fixed the the thing. What was it called? The rear screen demister. Like, I could have done that. It was just because it was there. And they didn't do the brake duct cooling mod. So I'm going to do it myself. Oh, hold on. Why does that not have any floor collision? Oh, it doesn't seem to need it. I was about to say I haven't broken anything and then suddenly I can't play. Okay, that's because that doesn't have any floor collision. Why not? Base floors collision is build floor collision, which is... Okay, that's working, but why when I built that, did it not finalising it? But yeah, that's my as I said, Dave, that's my go-to to explain how ill I really feel, how run down is that I've got a new motorbike and I haven't ridden it anywhere, and the weather's been nice too. So I'll find some excuses, but I need to. Now see, now that's, if you saw that, that can't ever happen. How did that happen? How is that happening? It's one of those though. As I mean, I can let the player do anything they bloody well like. If they decide to build their doors sideways, game lets you build doors sideways. Like, well, you did have the option not to. Okay, we're gonna go to ceiling now. I'm not sure I've actually programmed the ceilings. Ah, no, it's still messing up. Or is it? Yes, it is. I just went to press Control Z, like that's going to work. I'm on scene, I can't even tell. Obviously, when it's done, you won't see any of this stuff. You'll just see the actual final bits and bobs, not the randomness. Like, I'm struggling to see it in any wrong position. Is that wrong? I can't tell. Is that wrong? Who knows? Yeah, hold on. Oh, is that attaching ceiling to ceiling? No, because when it attaches ceiling to ceiling... Oh, I've just broken my own brain thinking about this. When it attaches ceiling to ceiling... that's not ceiling, so let's actually get the ceiling out. Blue can attach to blue, but orange can attach to orange. So if you go inside it, orange will attach to orange, but then blue will also attach to blue, and then that becomes not valid. So what I might need to do is possibly... Okay. We now need to rerun the detection, and if it's still valid and no crappy inter-collision, yay. Else we move it back. This means after moving we ended up with a tangled incorrect collision. I'm not sure whether to put it back. And just to check, after we build it, it's actually set to... Oh, right, yeah, here we go. lbase object dot get component base component dot finalize build. Didn't I already do that in 2 places? When we do it off disk... when we start a new build, yeah, so 3 places. That's correct. incidentally, while I shall probably continue to approach this with my clean room technique of never playing Rust or any of the others, if anybody wants to suggest things that it should do or shouldn't do, or any particularly brilliant parts from those games, I'm happy to take suggestions from the community. I am sure I am going to already weather a storm of, oh, you've copied Rust. But I have my Steam account, and you can quite easily see I do not own Rust. I do not own Subsistence. I do not own Space Engineers. I do not own any of these games. I've watched some people play DayZ, and that's about it. Now, whether or not that actually gets me out of the people on the internet telling me that I've copied something that I've never actually played. Like, I've only got the very vaguest idea of what Rust is like. You run around, pick berries, chop down trees. People are naked, I think, and you make bases, and then people grief you. And that's all I know about the game. And that's all I plan to know about the game. So I'm writing what I think Rust is rather than what Rust may actually be. That's actually pretty good overall, by the way. Alright, that's it's not perfect, but I'm going on the No Man's Sky stuff, which is about the same level as quality as this. So far so good. So I'm going to save that and reload because that's fine. That's my base. Okay, so that's the ceiling. You see that? Oh, unless that's not valid. So right now, if it's not valid, I don't, like, hide stuff away, which is what I should do. Let's do that. That'll probably make my life a little bit easier. Preview object.transform position equals camera.main.transform.position minus camera.main.transform tag transform forward times 8. So that will just take it 8 meters behind the camera if it's not valid. Which means if it's not valid, it will just disappear rather than sticking in the last place it was valid. What I'll probably do is only do that if for some reason it ends up... Yes, that's still not working, is that? And that's slightly annoying that I can't actually make a valid one there, but that's because they don't... Oh, they do have collision. But these sort of... yeah... I think you can copy parts of my own game. Well, I mean, indoors in these games is important because you die if you're outdoors and it gets cold and it's wet. Like, you'll die of being cold and wet and miserable. But that's because the walls don't have a collision, so that's kind of sensible. But damn, where's Todd? It's 2:30, man. Alexa, what time is it in Ohio?
The time in Ohio is 9:23 a.m.
Yeah, get your ass out of bed, Todd. That helps. So now it's either valid or it's gone. But walls don't have a collider, so that's just colliding off into the... That might not work so well when you are actually playing the game. Now that's definitely wrong. Well, how is... Oh, God. How am I supposed to possibly work out what's going on? Actually, hold on. This is because I don't have any... Are you colliding with an existing thing? Because obviously it's perfectly valid, sort of, to put a piece of ceiling inside an existing piece of ceiling. Because obviously it was valid for the first piece, so it's valid for the same piece. Second piece. Trying to work out how that... That's fine. That is not. So lock ready is true. Lock ready is still true. That was all I wanted to know. How is that the case? That's really hard to understand what's going on, isn't it? What I might do... What I might do is only render them if they're colliding. Maybe, just temporarily. Update. Get component renderer. Now base. Now what's it called? Base lock detect, that's the one. I can just pop it in there. Now they should only appear and disappear when they are valid, so I can hopefully work out which one. It could... Now this could be a code bug. It could be a... Wait, what? Base lock detect. I didn't say that. Now this could be a bug in my logic, it could be a bug in my code, or it could be that these aren't designed correctly. So I've got a number of places this could be wrong. same one to start with. Base locked attack. Enjoy looking at the hood underneath, by the way, because this obviously won't last. Like, this will all be gone. You won't see any of this when it's done. Quite amusingly. Yeah, so that's now hiding everything. That's cool. And it'll only show what's colliding. So those two are colliding. That's what's causing it to be valid. That's cool. That said, they're slightly out, but that gap there is probably because my collision boxes aren't quite right. That's why I should reconnect the snaps afterwards. So when I fix it, my bases will fix itself. Oh, you know, just get it right first time. Now let's break you. Actually, having said that, that one is wrong. So let's... No, let us. Let us, not Alexa. Let's... Let the t... Come on, love. Yeah, that's the broken one. So those three are colliding. And they're colliding with, I can't say. Bugger, we energy detection on this, don't we? But I do know they're green. Oh, they're not green, are they? They're... Let's not set the colour anymore. Because they're now actually preset colours. So if it does that, otherwise don't do anything like that. Right, what? Hello? They shouldn't be colliding. Base component. Sorry, base lock detect. That's fine. So that should go to false, like by default, and then we only enable it if it's true. Yeah, so you can see the blue ones lighting up because they are colliding, but they're not colliding in a valid way. Nothing collides there. Blue ones are colliding valid. What I should probably do is possibly when because each snap can only be used once. So when a snap happens, that snap should probably be locked away. Like a beta tech can't. There we go. That's the broken one. Right, what on earth are you colliding with? Right, you're colliding that blue. So we've got this wall here, and that's going to be. Let me just flip. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that is colliding with Well, it's not, is it? They're not touching. So that one says it's colliding with nothing. Wait, it says it's colliding with nothing. You're not colliding with anything. I'm confused. So right now, that says it's colliding and it's getting a green line up to there. I'm just going to check that I have got the colour. Yeah, that says blue. That says red. That says blue. But that... I mean, is that valid? I guess is the question, isn't it? This is the ceiling collider. No, it's not. That's completely incorrect. It needs to be centralized. So, in this case, that, you see, that doesn't go there because these are in the middle. Therefore, this one needs to be in the middle. I don't know, I guess I'll find out. I do like doing days like this because it makes people realise how much work sits behind this. It's like I say to Todd, like if you got about these asset flips, oh, they just flipped it, you know, and it's like you still need to do all this work. No matter how shitty your asset flip is, all of this still needs to be done. Right, that's actually broken, so I was wrong on that assumption. So that's still... Forget that one, this is the ceiling. There's just so much of like to do, even for the crappiest of games. A lot to do, and I think some of them, quite frankly, they put their assets in, they get on with the game, and then they go, "Oh god, I don't want to do this anymore," and then just ship it without having spent the time polishing up the whatnot. It is only my sheer professionalism keeping me doing this, rather than going, "Oh god, I don't want to do this anymore. Why is everything wrong?" Which I have days like that. Do have days like that. I kind of want to turn on the other one, but then it won't turn off. That's good. And that's good. And that's not. So, with... can I get it to break with slightly less colliders, though? So that's cool. We're happy with that. I may also need other, like, ray catchers and stuff. I may also need to actually shoot the whole thing forwards and then see if it collides along any of it, just to make it easy for the player. This is what I mean about I think each collider wants place, because that's thinking that's valid, which it kind of is. I can't break it, so that's good. Well, that's not good, but... So it's actually quite smart if you actually look what it's doing. It was a good plan. So the orange represents where I'm actually trying to put it, and then the blue one is colliding, and then those green lines represent how much I'm moving it by. So I don't think you have to be close. I'm being quite massively missing. It's just that there is some circumstance where it prefers to snap to the wrong one. I can probably get away with making those colliders way bigger once there's... Oh, there we go. That's correct. No, wait, they're both incorrect. Right, what are you snapping to? Probably one of the side lock coals, because you're blue. Ah, wait a minute. That seems... Okay, I was a numpty. Right, why is the collision disabled on that? What? Oh, that's because I was selecting the one that's currently got the real-time stuff running on. So the one I placed, like the preview one, has no collision. It's hidden away. It's only the virtual one. So I need to select that. Good. Okay, so this is probably ceiling coal. Just move that up there. Yes, that's blue. So what's... Wait, what? That's totally not colliding with that, is it? There is no way that's colliding with this. However, I'm getting a message, very unhelpful, that two things are colliding. But base ceiling clone colliding with... Let me just turn these on so I can see them as well. So it's not... Better not be those. That's marked as red. That's marked as blue. But what's happening? The blue is saying, hey, I'm colliding. And the preview one does not have any active colliders. No. Why is this... Okay, so is it that on the side wall, so if I fiddle with this, I think... Oh, wait, that's not doing what I thought it would do. When I move that, I was expecting the whole thing to move with it, but it's not. So that could mean it's the offset along... No. Because this wall also has a... Come on. A ceiling collider. There. So is it that they're both in the wrong place? Is it that that should be... No, it should not be 0. Oh, wait, hold on. Is that correct? Shouldn't be too hard to re-break. So let's... Oh, bugger, I actually built it, I think. Okay, so instead of a placeholder... no, hold on, is that 0.2? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, yeah, I can't do that in my head. 0.166. Okay. Cool, that'll do. I think I might know what the issue is, and I think that the ceiling blocks are quote-unquote 1 big. But of course, if you take into account the amount of width of the wall, you can't have it 1 big. There's no room for it to be 1 big. This is probably some fancy pants name like internal relative diameter things. Bugger. I hope what I said just made sense. It made sense in my mind. However, floors and ceilings are now fairly interchangeable, so that's cool. Yeah, so you can see how the... coughing, but cough. So you can see how the floor... Ignore that's not quite lined up. The floor has to exist there. So this means the ceiling... You need to click through the floor. But yeah, so this comes down to Andy having to really correctly set stuff up. Yeah, these things don't have a collider to make my life easier yet. Or is it right? I might have to. It says stop. I'll give it 10 more minutes and then I'm going to stop because my brain is melting a little bit. I don't know which of my assumptions are correct because that's all good in the sense that that lines up equally wall to ceiling. A little gap, but that's just wall to ceiling, that's fine. And then there's overlap because there kind of has to be. But the problem is that overlaps should be, this ceiling should be, under all circumstances, here. So the ceiling should overlap like that. It doesn't butt up to it, it overlaps it. Because if it doesn't overlap it, then it needs to line up with where the floor would be. That means if I were to duplicate that now, that lines up. Okay, so the issue is that now those clothes can't change. It has to be this one. And I think it needs to be that this collider, oh, wrong axis. This collider needs to line up with the outside. Maybe. I also don't know how advanced I'm going to make this at this point. It will probably just be, yep, that works. Then do the bolt-on stuff that will then query the base and do its stuff, and then that's game specific. But if you want to do internal corridors, you certainly can. That's fine. Look dumb, but that's your problem. You know what I mean? Okay, that's fine. So I'm happy with the Z fighting. Yeah, that's more like it. So we have the fun problem that if we want to put another wall on top, those need to butt up all the way to the top, so that'll be that Z fighting. I mean, it only needs to be a centimetre or so. That looks alright though. Can I do another layer of ceiling? Probably. Yeah. I am detecting the oopsie daisy I built inside myself thing. No, there was a jib there. I saw that thing too close by once. That's right. But all that really needs to happen is the ceilings need to go up just a tiny hair. All the ceilings have a, you know, an outside and an inside covering. So if I just take that, pop that in there, move the collider. I mean, that's the thing. I can't. I haven't played the game, so I can't remember what happens. Like, I think most of them, a ceiling kind of looks the same as a floor. Is it still prototyping? Oh gosh, yes. No, Arctic, it's totally done. I'm shipping it just like that. It's just gonna literally, the game will look like this. Damn, you asked some stupid question. I mean, of course. What do you think? Of course it is. But they're 2 meters by 2 meters by 2 meters. So when you build one, it's about player size, but that doesn't matter. The whole system's just I could just scale the whole thing up or down or whatever. Yeah, that'll do for the moment. Oh, well, create 3D object capsule. That's approximately a person size there. Give or take. I have realised that if I've made it 2 meters tall, it doesn't quite work. Usually what I do is I do start 2 meters tall, then make the player about 1.7 meters. That usually works. Okay, so that's about a person size there. And then you have the options of fairly low ceilings or very high ceilings. But I could do it 1 meter square or 10 meters or whatever I desired. Game cares not. But the idea is, of course, this can look like anything. So hopefully this can just drop straight into FortressCraft Phoenix as an alternative way of building bases. And probably a pretty one. So, you know, the old one will still work, but then you can also just build these blocks directly, and they'll just more or less build a voxel. Now, of course, you do have the issue that these walls are 10 centimeters wide, and FortressCraft's minimum thickness is obviously 1. But I could probably get away with having FortressCraft walls look only half a meter thick. Like the collision looks to be a meter thick. Can't do much about that. But, I mean, visuals aside, this is about as complex as No Man's Sky's base building system, I think. I suspect I'll have problems because I think if I'm actually standing on this, I think I'll have problems actually lining up the walls. So there are some things. But probably what it is I'll end up having to put small internal colliders in just to catch the ray as it goes upwards. It's okay when you're looking downwards, because obviously you're looking downwards. And that's actually a floor. But they are the same. So yeah. Now see that was still an issue to fix. don't know if you saw that. It might also be that the solution at the end of it is to quantize it to a 2-meter grid, which would probably solve nearly all of the issues. So here's the other question though. If I rerun it, yay. But yeah, the ceiling tiles need to be like tiny bit smaller along all dimensions so they don't clip outside. Yeah, awesome. Right, guys, I am going to stop there. I will probably not be streaming tomorrow, as I have got what's the word? Not academic, clerical stuff to do tomorrow. So I doubt streaming. I'll be on Discord. I'm always on Discord. Friday we'll be doing FortressCraft Phoenix, and I will hopefully get to the point where I can ship the patrons a build. Mostly it's a token build. It's not going to be holy shit, this is so much different or better. It's mostly so I can say, hand on heart, there is a FortressCraft Phoenix, it does exist, and patrons get it. And obviously as it improves, they'll get more and more and more. Any questions before I go and make myself some toast and lay down? Have I missed anything? Don't think so. So yeah, feel free to message me on the Discords, as always, or on the Twitters, or, you know, Facebook if you're one of the weirdos. We'll see you guys all on Friday for definite, and tomorrow possibly, depending on how my day goes. Cepheus says goodbye, and I shall say goodbye too. No, it's completely pissing down Arctic, but hey. Bye for now.